Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In a previous video lecture, we have studied the radio wave propagation. In that, we have covered the first wave propagation, that is ground wave propagation. Then after that, we have also studied what is meant by the critical frequency, then maximum usable frequency, that is MUF, and also we have studied the sky wave propagation. Okay, so in today's video lecture, we are going to discuss about the skip distance concept. Okay, so here for the skip distance, it is defined as it is the shortest distance from the transmitter measured along the surface of the earth at which the sky wave of the fixed frequency returns back to the earth, and this frequency should be greater than the critical frequency, that is FC. Okay, so for that refer this diagram, that is 8.3.2d, which shows the effect of variation in the angle of incidence theta, keeping the frequency constant. Okay, so here we can see the angle of incident theta is quite large for ray 1. This is ray 1, and here this is the angle theta, which is quite large, and it is progressively reduced. So as represented by this ray 2 and this ray 3, this angle theta is decreases. So here due to this reduction in that angle theta, what happened? The rays return at points which are more and more close to the transmitter. This is transmitter. Okay, and this is the earth's surface. So for the angle of incident much less than that of ray 3, ray 4 and 5, these angle of incidence cannot return back to the earth's surface and escape as shown in this figure like this. Okay, this is the ray 3rd, then ray 4 and ray 5. So finally, if the angle of incidence is just slightly smaller than that of corresponding ray 3rd, then the wave will return, but at further point on the earth, see ray 6, this is the ray 6. So this is called as the upper ray as shown in this figure. So it bends back very gradually as the ion density is changing very gradually at this angle. This is the ray 6. Okay, so here due to its longer journey through the ionosphere, ray 6 is the weak signal. Okay, so thus at the given frequency, the angle corresponding to the ray 3 will result in the shortest distance up to the point of return. Therefore, this distance is the skip distance. Okay, so now if the higher frequency is beamed up at the angle of incidence of ray 3, then it will not return back to the earth like 4 and 5. So thus MUF, that is maximum usable frequency, is the frequency which makes a given distance to correspondence to the skip distance. This is the ionosphere. Okay, so this is the skip distance. Let us see what is meant by skip zone. So for skip zone, we have seen that what is meant by the term skip distance. Now let us understand the meaning of the skip zone. For that, refer this figure, concept of skip zone. So here the distance A to B, this is A and this is B, is the skip distance. Okay, so the distance A to C is the ground wave range for the transmitter located at a point A. Then the distance C to B is the skip zone. So here we can see this skip zone from that C point to B point. Okay, so here looking for this diagram, it is clear that if receiver lies in the skip zone, then neither the sky wave or the ground wave propagation can be used to communicate with it. Okay, so after that, let us refer next diagram. So in this, the point D lies in the skip zone. This is another point, that is D, which is lies in the skip zone. So communication with this point is possible by reducing the operating frequency of the transmitter at point A. So thus this F2 becomes the MUF for the new skip distance, that is A to D. Okay, this is the F2. That is the next MUF. The next point is the space wave propagation. That is the third type of wave propagation. So the sky wave propagation cannot take place above the frequency of 30 megahertz because the ionosphere cannot reflect back such high frequencies, and the ground wave dies out near the transmitting antenna itself. So due to the wavefront tilting as discussed in previous concept, hence at the frequencies above 30 megahertz, the space wave propagation can be used. Okay, so this is the diagram for the space wave propagation by space waves. So here these waves travel in the straight line directly from transmitting antenna to the receiving antenna like this. Okay, so the direct or space waves are not refracted like a sky waves, nor do they follow the curvature of the earth like the ground waves. So due to the straight line nature of the space waves, they will at some point be blocked due to the curvature of earth. This is the curvature of earth. Okay, so if the signal is to be received beyond the horizon, then the receiving antenna must be tall, which can be shown in next figure like this. Okay, so here we can see here the antennas should be tall. Okay, to avoid the such type of curvature of earth. Okay, so here let us see next the multipath space wave propagation. Multi means many. So in practice, the signal received at the receiving antenna is not just due to the direct ray coming from this transmitting antenna, but also due to the ground reflected ray like this. This is the ground, and here the many waves are reflecting from this ground surface. This is the first ray. Okay, then after that this transmitting antenna radiates signal from this tower. Then this signal is strike to this ground surface, and after that it again reflected towards this transmitting antenna, and again this is the secondary path, that is multipath space wave propagation. Okay, so this type of reception is often observed in the TV signal reception. So due to the different path length of the direct and reflected waves, they undergo different phase shift, and the resultant signal strength at the receiving antenna is due to the vector sum of strengths due to all the rays at the receiver. Okay, so there are second concept, that is optical horizon. So as shown in this figure, we can see the optical horizon is the farthest point which can be seen by the transmitting antenna. Okay, that is the distance d. Okay, so here it is the optical horizon. Okay, so here if the space waves travel truly in straight line, then the maximum range of space wave communication would be restricted to this optical horizon. Okay, the next concept is the radio horizon. Okay, so here we can see the radio horizon for a space wave is slightly greater than the optical horizon. This is optical horizon and this is the radio horizon. Okay, so the radio horizon range is greater than this optical horizon due to the varying density of atmosphere and because of the diffraction around the curvature of the earth. This is the curvature of the earth. Okay, so as shown in this figure, we can see the waves bend due to the density changes in the atmosphere, which makes the radio horizon to be beyond the optical horizon. Okay, so here this diagram is useful for the optical and radio horizon in space wave communication. Then after that, the next point is the antennas. Okay, so here we know that at the receiver side we have to use the antennas. Okay, so here these antennas we have used frequently, and this antenna is the metallic object, often a wire or the collection of wire which is used to perform the certain functions. The first point is it couples the transmitter output to the free space or the receiver received input to the receiver side. Okay, so it must be capable of radiating or the receiving the electromagnetic waves. Then it converts the high frequency current into the electromagnetic waves, or we can say the vice versa. So even though the functions to be performed are different, but the transmitting and the receiving antennas basically share the same principle and they are the identical. Okay, so here if the radio frequency current flows in the wire conductor, it is found that not all the energy applied at one end finds its way to the other end. Some of the energy escape, that is, it is radiated. So it is possible to calculate the amount of energy escaped. Okay, so its direction or the direction of propagation, etc., can be calculated using the Maxwell's equation. Okay, so again we know that there are different important terms and definitions in antenna. The first is the antenna gain. As we know that the directional antennas radiated more power in certain direction than the other. So the omnidirectional antenna radiates equally in all the directions. So we can put this in a different way, and the directional antenna is said to have a gain in a particular direction, and so the definition of this antenna gain is given by using the concept of directive gain. Because this directive gain is defined in a particular direction, simply it is the ratio of the lower power density radiated in that direction by an isotropic antenna to that by a directional antenna. So both these power densities are measured at the same distance and both the antenna radiate the same amount of total power. So hence here the directive gain thus a power ratio, it is the here we can say the directive gain of this practical antennas are greater than the unit. Okay, so here again there is one more important term that is directivity. So this directivity gain can be defined in any direction. That means this directivity is equal to maximum directive gain. Then again there is a one important parameter, that is power gain. We know that the power gain of antenna is defined as the ratio of power fed to an isotropic antenna to the power fed to the directional antenna to develop the same field strength at the same distance in the direction of maximum radiation. Okay, so these are some important definitions related to the antennas. Okay, so after that here we are going to discuss about the dipole antenna, that is resonant antennas. Okay, so here we can see the diagram that is figure 9.4. So this is the simplest dipole antenna of length lambda by 2. We can see this is the length, that is lambda by 2. So the dipole antennas are also called as the resonant antennas. So here this a resonant antenna corresponds to the resonant transmission line. So the resonant transmission line has the resonant length, that is the length which is the multiple of half wavelength, that is lambda by 2. So the dipole antennas have a length like lambda by 2 or lambda or 3 lambda by 2 etc., which are the multiple of the lambda by 2. Hence the dipole antennas are called as the resonant antennas. Okay, so here this is the half wave dipole antenna. So here if you see the voltage and current distribution, here refer this diagram for that. So it shows the voltage and current distribution along the length of half wave length dipole. So due to the voltage applied by an RF generator at the feed points, traveling waves and standing waves are set up along the length of the antenna. Okay, so here as the conductor of the dipole are open circuited at the outer ends, the standing waves are produced due to the reflection taking place at the open circuit. Okay, so here due to the reflection, standing waves are set up which give rise to the nodes and antinodes of voltage and current. This is voltage node and the current antinode. So due to the open circuit at the outer ends, current minima, that is nodes that are obtained at the extreme ends of the antenna. Okay, this is the current node and this is the voltage antinode. Okay, again this is voltage, this is current, this is voltage node, and this is current antinode. Okay, so here the voltage node and the current antinodes are observed at the feed points which as a distance of lambda by 4 from the end points. Okay, so here if we see the radiation pattern, then for that refer this figure 9.4.c. So the radiation pattern of this dipole antenna is as shown in this figure. So the radiation is maximum at right angles to the dipole and reduces on both the side of the maximum. This is the axis of antenna. Okay, so the radiation is maximum at right angles to the dipole and which reduces on the both the side of the maximum. So the radiation is 0 in line with the antenna, and the radiation pattern across section is as shown in this figure. Okay, so this is the figure of 8 with its axis at right angle to the dipole. Okay, so here the length of the lambda by 2 dipole antenna is totally dependent on the frequency at which it is supposed to be operate. So this is all about our today's session. I hope you will like and enjoy. अगर आपके कुछ डाउट या सजेशंस होते हैं तो आप हमें नीचे कमेंट बॉक्स में लिख सकते हैं. So we will stop here with motivational quote. Today's motivational quote for you is, don't limit your challenges, challenge your limits. Thank you for watching my videos. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much.